Welcome to MSA Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to a new episode. I'm Diego Sanchez, MSA Sport Director, and I'm here with...
I'm Dana Pitlick.
I'm Chris Pitlick. We're parents of Cory Pitlick, who's playing here from Frankfort, Illinois.
So, guys, welcome. It's not the first time that we talk, but it's the first time here in the podcast that we're creating. So let's talk a little bit before we start talking about Cory. I want to know about you guys. Talk to me, or talk to the audience a little bit about you.
I am a recently retired fifth grade teacher. So excited about moving on to a new phase of life, but I've spent most of my life in education, working with children. I grew up in a very small town, and because of that, I was fortunate enough to be able to do both athletics and music. We eventually met in college marching band, but prior to that in high school, I played multiple sports. My main sport was track and field.
Oh, nice.
Again, I'm Chris, and my main passion has always been music. So I was a music teacher for 33 years. I taught high school band, everything from marching band, concert band, jazz band, pep band. I did all kinds of stuff with that. I liked sports, and I'm competitive with things, but I didn't play competitive soccer or competitive anything. I played a little bit of everything, but nothing really more than music. My main instrument was clarinet, so I really focused on that. It's good growing up.
That's good. So then I knew you were a musician teacher. I didn't know you did sports back in the day. So I'm guessing that's where Cory got it from. Also, you have a daughter that's Cory's oldest sister. Can you talk about her a little bit?
Cory's older sister has also kind of dabbled in both. She was a softball player, and then also was very involved in music. She eventually, much like her father, once she hit more of the high school age, she chose to follow more of the music career. Mm-hmm. She now has degrees in hospitality and event management, and she is an event manager for a luxury caterer in Washington, D.C.
Nice. That's cool. How many years of difference are between the both of them?
2 school years. They're 20 months apart.
Okay. And how was the relationship growing up?
When they were younger, they were very, very tight, very, very close. They hit those high school years, and I think it was kind of the typical sibling rivalry a little bit. They're very different personalities. Cory is very high energy, all the time, on the go, wants to do things. And his sister sometimes needs her own quiet space. So especially in high school, that kind of got to be a little bit of
I think it's the normal age.
A little bit of a clash
I'm the
for
cookie,
them.
though, you know.
So, but we've seen in recent years, they've really come back together and are pretty tight.
That's nice. I think it's always important to have that connection with your siblings, you know, and I'm glad that I have seen it, so I can tell that they for sure have it. I want to know a little bit more of when did he start playing. You know, I know back in the States, and it's a good thing that a lot of the kids do a lot of sports. That's something that here in Spain or where I'm from in Mexico, we don't really do that much. You pick a sport and you stick with it, but I like that in the States you have that freedom of choosing or trying to pick different sports. So I want to know when did he start playing soccer? What other sports did he also play? I know he also was into music a little bit.
Yeah, Cory dabbled in a lot of things when he was younger. He started... Soccer obviously became his passion, but he played a little bit of baseball, but that moved too slow for him. There wasn't enough action as the game was going on. He needed some movement. He also played basketball, and he's a pretty good athlete, kind of all-around athlete, but he started playing competitive soccer at about 8 years old. So it was like third grade, about 8 years old, and always just had a love and passion for it. So he found all different kinds of avenues, any place he could play soccer, or in addition to his club stuff, he would try to play. We have a thing called ODP, which is Illinois Olympic Development Program, that he got involved with, and they have regional stuff with that. So he made the state team, and they would play against other teams throughout the United States. several times down in Florida. He would play with the state team down there, and our region actually won once. So, and it was due to a lot of his efforts with stuff. So he's always had the passion for playing soccer and playing sports. Like I said, dabbled a little bit in music. He plays guitar.
Yes, that's
Also,
a fun fact to know.
Played drums a little bit too, but he played guitar all the way through high school. So
that's cool.
Their Illinois, the ODP team, was actually his first trip to Spain too. They brought the entire team,
because went to
and
Barcelona,
they came
right?
And went to Barcelona. We spent a week touring, and it was really nice because they not only wanted to focus on opportunity for soccer, but to learn of another culture too. So they did a great job taking the team to Tarragona, to all different kinds of Roman ruins, into Barcelona. So a really well-rounded thing that kind of got him, interested even in Spain as a country.
And that's great. I mean, because obviously here the players coming here to obviously play football, soccer. Yeah. That's what they do. But I think also knowing the culture of where you're going and the language and everything that's surrounded, I think is one of the most important thing. And obviously the players, they just focus on football, but if they also want to have that reason of maybe I'm gonna go to Granada and see what is over there. I mean, you have been there. It's a beautiful city, right?
Beautiful.
So talk to me a little bit more. How he started development. So you just guys said that he started playing at 8, right?
Competitive, exactly. We call it like recreational soccer until then. So he started that when he was 4. So from 4 to 8, he just played the recreational soccer, and they would do that in the fall. Then he played basketball in the winter, and then baseball in the spring. Okay. And then once he learned the place he'd been playing rec soccer, decided to start a club team. And once he realized that the club team would play year round, he was done with the other sports.
I'm saying with this sport.
He did play basketball through 8th grade in like a recreational setting, but soccer was his thing, right? That he was going to do.
I'm glad he chose that path.
Yeah.
And then from there, did he also play high school, or he was playing?
Yes.
He was involved?
Yes. The region or the area that we live in, the clubs kind of had an agreement that they still wanted the players to be involved with their high school, because if they just do club, it kind of removes them from friend groups and things that are happening within within the school.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So they agreed that they don't run club during the high school season, so that they try to encourage as many players to go play with their high school. And they'll all tell you it wasn't maybe the best soccer they've played, but just to see the relationship with his friends from growing up, and a lot of them played different clubs. Okay. So when they came to high school, they got to all come back together. So they'd competed against each other, and then now they had an opportunity to play together for their high school. That's good. Which was really great. They won regionals twice during their 4 years, his group, and just a really fun, positive experience.
That's great. And then for the people that are watching us back home and might not be familiar with the American system on soccer, there's a lot of players that they go to high school and then they get committed to go to college. How was that transition from Cory? Or did he got committed before he finished high school? Did he got drafted? I'm not really sure how it works, so if you can explain us.
Okay. Yes, he started maybe his sophomore year, junior year. They the universities do like an open combine, and you can register and come and play. The coaches watch you. They run different combines over the summer, where you might be at one combine and there might be 12 different universities there watching you. So he kind of started that process between his sophomore and junior year. His junior year, he was kind of leaning towards one university, and then he went to one of their things. Didn't really click real well with the head coach. He'd been dealing with an assistant coach who he really liked, and so then he kind of opened up his eyes again and was looking into something else. And he had a couple others where you do what they call a college visit, so you actually get to go to the college.
That's better.
You're allowed so many. I don't remember what it was exactly, but you actually get to go on campus. They can walk you around and do things like that. So he was kind of looking between 3 or 4 different colleges. And then the summer before his senior year, he kind of nailed it down to he wanted to go to Drake University, and the coach at the time actually was a connection through the ODP program that he had been a part of. He had coached him at one of their regional events, and so he kind of had a relationship with him already. So Cory was, kind of interested in that. He liked the school a lot, so both pieces kind of connected, and he committed to the school. And he was actually supposed to be going to meet the team, do a little bit of a training session with the team. And he was set to be there on Monday, and on Thursday, COVID shut everything down. So he didn't get to go. He did keep in contact with the coach. The coach did an amazing job, used Zoom as a tool to keep meeting people, allowed the incoming freshmen to meet the current players through Zoom and talking. And then they did go ahead. They came in that fall. It was just a crazy situation. They had roommates that were only soccer players, so they tried to create a bubble where they were only interacting with people within the team. They were able to do training sessions, some with masks, some without masks. If they could be outside, they were without masks. If they had to be inside, they had to put them on. They were in Des Moines, Iowa, which isn't great weather for starting in about November. It's cold and snowy. They ended up having to postpone the NCAA season that year. They should have competed in the fall, and instead they did the spring, and they only played each team once. So because of that, anyone who came in with Cory or was in school at that time, they got what they called a COVID semester. So they got an extra semester of eligibility. So I'm talking a lot. Do you want to continue on with where he went from Drake?
We're taking a quick break in the podcast to tell you a little more about MSA. We are an international football academy that welcomes players from all around the world. Young athletes who arrive with one clear goal: to improve, to grow, and to earn the opportunity to break into European football. At MSA, our mission is to make the opportunity possible. We work with UEFA licensed coaches, high-performance training programs, and offer a full-service residential facility with everything our players need: a gym, sauna, swimming pool, tennis court, in short, top-level facilities designed to help each player reach their maximal potential. We offer a 3, 6, and 9 months program. If you'd like to become part of our academy or want more information, you'll find a link in the description with all the details. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
So he played for about 3 years at Drake. And then in the middle of his sophomore year, they had a coaching change. So this coach that had recruited him decided he was leaving and moving on. And Cory thought it was going to click with the new coach, but it didn't. So then he decided to put himself in what we call the portal, which allows them to transfer from one university to the next. So he he put his name in the portal the spring of his junior year. He was recruited then by the University of Memphis and loved it there. He went there and played the following year. Loved the players, loved the facilities. It was a much tougher conference that he was moving to, kind of the southeast areas or universities. Many of the southeastern universities in the United States were part of this conference, so a very competitive conference as far as soccer goes. And he loved playing there. Yeah, so he did, and he finished out his tenure there. His last year, unfortunately, he got a little injury that happened for him, a little stress fracture. So it took him out of about 6 games until he could get back playing. Got back to the very last game of the season where he played the second half entirety and kind of changed again the momentum of that particular game. So he's always kind of been an impactful player when it comes to when it comes to football and soccer. Yes. So. And now he still wants to continue on, and he's looking to try to see what he can do on the professional and or international level. He's pretty wide open as far as opportunities. Like I said, even growing up, he kind of would go and try to figure out wherever he had an opportunity. He would always try to see if that could be something for him. Exactly. So
he's right now behind us. He's practicing with the first team. He's a player that he's daily practicing with the first team, and it's something that it's proud for us. A player that came to the program and in less than 2-3 weeks he make an impact and already practicing daily with the first team and then having offers with different clubs, as you guys already know. But before we get into that, I also want to ask two questions. When do you guys notice or at least start seeing something on him that you guys can tell, like, okay, I think that's something that he's really good at it and he wants to make it, or at least try to be a professional player? And the second question is how, because it was the first time from him moving away from home when he went to college. How was that for you guys? You know, I'm guessing your daughter moved out first, and then him as the youngest in the house, then moved out. How was that transition for you guys?
It's kind of funny though, between the two of them, because with soccer, Cory he would go to these camps over the summer and he would go here and away. So his transition going away to college, I think, was probably easier than it was for our daughter,
Okay.
who was somebody who was always kind of around us and very
yes.
local and like would do things with her, a tight network of friends. For Cory, he was always kind of going places, and soccer was kind of that avenue that was taking him to those places. So when he went away to college, it really wasn't a dramatic transition for him. And we even thought coming here to Spain that he was going to have a more difficult time transitioning, and he kind of just assimilated himself in, and you know, it's been like no big deal. So it's kind of funny that, you know, they kind of switched roles from what you would expect.
It's always I think the youngest, and I mean, again, because he's pursuing a dream, it's make it a little bit easier, you know. But I've been in that situation, and it's never easy moving away from home. But I know that's as a father, but maybe as a mother can be a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, he's my baby. So
Yeah.
there's that. I have really been impressed with his transition here. I think even when he went to college, he was close enough that
Yeah, there he is.
he was close enough that we still saw him a lot and were able to interact with him a lot. And since he's come here, he's, I feel, doing a lot more on his own, you know, much more independent. You know, I think some of it is, you know, just with the Spanish, we can't necessarily help with some things. And I feel, you know, even since the time, I mean, he's always been a very determined child, adult, everything. If he sets his goal on something, he'll do whatever it takes to get where he's going. And I think that really came to light as he decided to move here. You know, a lot of people are just like, holy cow, you know, how are you letting him just going, your kid's just going to Spain? And I'm like, it's what he wants and he'll be fine. You know,
and it's always amazing and nice to have the support from your parents, you know, because like you said, some other parents can say you guys are crazy letting your kid go away to the other side of the world, you know. But it's like you say, you supporting his dream, and it's hard to say no to that, right? And
Yes.
and so far, I mean, that dream it's getting closer and closer to become true for him.
Yes.
You know, so now that he made the move to Spain, he's been here for almost 2 months and a half. He's been already on tryouts with 3 clubs. So let's talk a little bit about it. He got a tryout with El Palo. That's a club in the Tercera Ref. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but it's the same division as our first team. They actually play in the same group as well. So when we found out about that we got the call that they were interested in Cory, for us was amazing news. We were over the moon. And then on the same day, we also got a call from another club in the same division, Ude San Pedro, that they wanted to see him play. For us, we're like, what's going on? Like, who is this kid? So what I'm trying to ask is what was in your head, or how was your reaction when you guys found out that he was trying first with Ude San Pedro, and then he was also a week later trying with El Palo?
We were very, very excited. Like I said, I know he's always determined. He always works towards his goals. this happened way faster than I thought. I thought, it would maybe take him a while to assimilate and to, get his, rhythm and things before people were noticing him and seeing him. So it was super exciting to see that happen very quickly. And then to hear the excitement on his part, it just, I said, sometimes as a mom, they're doing their best when you're not hearing a lot from them.
Yes.
He was super excited, super busy. And, I was getting just little, tidbits here and there of what was going on. And I could tell that, he was gaining confidence and really feeling like, this was where he was meant to be.
For sure. What about you? What was your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I was as excited for him probably as he was. So, he's, like I said, it's a dream that he's always had. So he's, really trying to pursue that. And, we were really excited with all of the opportunities that has come his way in the short time that he's been here. So, I don't really know what else to say other than like, we're just, very ecstatic that things are moving well and being positive for him.
That's true, and it's still going well. Like I say, he's a player that's really with the first team. He already have options, as you guys know. We try not to spoil things, but it's a player. It's a player that from day one he make an impact. I was the one that when I went to LA for the tryouts, I saw him and I was the one who recruited. So I knew that he was gonna be this good, well, maybe not this good to be honest. But I remember when I came back from LA, I was telling the whole staff, like, listen, this kid coming up, he's very good, and I think he actually have the level to also be with the first. And like, hey, let's see him first, and then they will see. And then I remember on the first practice, I couldn't make it, and then when everybody returned, I asked the coaches how was it. Like, who is this kid? Like, how you convince him to come over here? Like, we were lucky, and we still been very happy with him, because like I've said many times before, he's an amazing player, but he's also an amazing person off the field with his teammates, with the staff, everything that you want to know about him. He's like a book. He's free always to talk. When a player of his when a teammate is not doing well, he's always there to help. So, and that's on you guys, maybe the football, he was with coaches, but racing that kid, it was all on you. And I want to say that you guys did a fabulous job on racing Cory.
Thank you. Yeah, he always seems to know how to make his mark when he's in a tryout situation or a new surrounding, how to try to put himself up towards the top of everybody that's there and get noticed. Like you're saying, he figures out a way to do that. And he's not somebody that is like over the top with that. He does it in a very subtle way, and You're like, wow, he's like, you really notice what he's doing. So he's not always flashy, but he's one that's very very confident in what he's doing, and he makes, quite honestly, I think he makes other players better that are around him. He makes them look good. He makes and they can make him look good at the same time, with once he makes the connection with his teammates and that, and you see a whole nother level that he raises to when he the further he goes in with the club, or the further he gets to know his teammates. I
totally agree with you. You guys were lucky. You saw him in 2 games so far, right? We went to Jaén against Baeza. Not the result that we wanted, but it was a great game. And then last Saturday on the weekend, a game that we won 3-1, a tough one, a very hard game. But he was able to score 2 goals. What was your reaction of? I don't know how often you guys were able to see him to play in the States, but now being here in Europe, in Spain, to watch your kid playing the game that he loves, and then scoring 2 goals. How was that reaction?
It was really great. He had a few years where, like we talked in college, where there was the transition and things happening. And as he went to college, his position kind of changed, and he became more of a defender, and they got kind of moved around. And as he went to the next university, they started him as a defender, and then they're like, wait, why didn't you tell us you could play in the midfield? And so then they got him back into the midfield. And over the last 2 years, and then like here, it's finally like I'm seeing Cory play again. So, it was exciting to watch him score, but just so great to see him back with that confidence. of like, of course I scored, because he, can do that. And he works so well with the team. Growing up, a lot of his friends' parents would like bribe them. If you scored, you got, you got so much, whatever. And Cory didn't necessarily keep the track of that as much as a lot of times he did the assists, the great pass that he made to so-and-so to get the goal.
Yeah.
He gave up a record he could have had in high school because they were in their last game and he wanted every kid on the team to score.
Oh.
So he still ended up with a record, but he could have had another.
Yeah, because he was
but
close.
it was more important to him
Trying to get a couple of his teammates to score.
to get a couple of teammates
and
who hadn't scored yet that year to score.
And that's tell you the person that he is.
Yes.
It's like I say, amazing player, but even a better human being, and that's on you guys. So we're coming now to an end of this amazing time that we're having. So the last question before we finish this is just, what would you say to those families, let's say for you guys in the States, that can be maybe in the same situation as Cory was, coming out of college and maybe not getting drafted to MLS or finding a professional pathway right away? What would you say that to them, that there's this program where we try to help those players and help them on this development?
I think it's a great program. I do think if your child, your student, your athlete is really determined, I think this is a great step they can take if they haven't had the opportunities that they were looking for in the U.S. to come over here and take another look. I think the football here is a little different style than the football in the U.S. So I think some people who maybe aren't shining in the U.S. can maybe shine over here. And the opportunities that you're providing are amazing. There's multiple levels of teams. He's playing games all the time. He's getting extra training with the first team. So I think the staff really does a great job here, taking the player where they're at and working to push them towards their goals.
Totally.
Anything?
Yeah, I would agree. Just having the opportunities of coming over here has been good for him and for, I think, for players, not only for the soccer part, but I think the cultural aspect of it as well. Like,
Totally.
Cory has improved with his Spanish speaking, and he enjoys the cultural parts of things. He loved going to Granada and seeing the big cathedral. And
Yes.
we took him yesterday in Malaga, and same thing. We walked around and saw the Christmas lights, and so like all of the cultural stuff is very different than some of the stuff that we have in the United States. So I think for players that are young and looking for opportunities, this is something that they should definitely not rule out. This is something that could be a stepping stone for them to something bigger and greater. The staff has been wonderful here. The communication has been really good, both from the staff to the players, and they know what's going on and how things are working. And the football side of things we feel like, and Cory has told us, like, he really feels like he's learned a lot from the coaches and in his playing. So I think there's some really good, positive opportunities for players to come over and be part of an academy like this.
And that's amazing to hear from parents. At the end of the day, we that's what we want. We work to create a program where players can have a real opportunity with a real pathway, and then knowing that the parents also believe in our program. It's like just what we want to hear, Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for your time, guys. Now I'm gonna let you enjoy the practice. Everybody who's watching us, thank you so much. Stay tuned for more interviews, and don't forget to follow us. Ciao.